the freshman class. This is an exciting freshman class. We've talked about them all off season now. There's not one guy that we're not excited about. This is a great recruiting class. The guys that came in early look good. The guys that came in during the summer look great as well. Who do you got as your two freshman impact players for this year? People that definitely not going to get redshirted and are going to show up and show out early on this season.
Well, first of all, like we've been doing with the other classes, I have the obvious, Joseph Ngata. This guy wasn't a secret when he was being recruited, 5-star from California. He certainly isn't a secret anymore. I mean, you hear the coaches gush over this guy every single practice. I mean, he's always making some kind of crazy catch. He's physically advanced. He's fast. He can catch in traffic, high point the ball. He can do whatever, okay? He can take the top off. It's incredible. So I think he's poised to make some pretty big plays in the passing game this year, even with the crowded receiving corps, when you have the likes of Higgins and Ross there as well. This guy's going to make a name for himself in a hurry, hopefully as soon as the Georgia Tech game. But I really look forward to watching him all the Saturdays this year, because I think this kid is going to be absolutely incredible. Has a chance to be one of the best we've ever had come through Clemson, maybe the best, which is saying something, because like I said, we've had a ton of receivers come through here, not just Higgins and Ross, but the past with Hopkins and Watkins and all those guys. It's absolutely incredible. Tyler Davis is my number 2. Tyler Davis, you hear a lot of talk about him as well. You know how important it is to me to, be able to stuff the run. That is a very important thing for the Clemson defense over the past several years. Being able to stuff the run. Nobody has been able to run on us worth anything, and it's because we have some gigantic guys in the middle. Christian Wilkins, Dexter Lawrence, those guys like we talked about before. Tyler Davis, technically sound, but a freshman. He's going to come in and he's going to play. He's going to play a lot. As a matter of fact, from some of the rumblings you hear, from camp, there's a good chance that this guy is pushed into a starting role maybe sooner than people might think. From the kind of vibes that I've picked up, Pinckney is almost back, but he even admits he's not quite 100%. Jordan Williams the same way. If they're not careful, Tyler Davis is going to be pushing them for a starting role early.
Well, Dabo even mentioned it in his last interview that I watched. I think it was Monday night or Tuesday night. He was saying, one of the media guys asked him, what's the tightest race you have right now, the tightest most contested position you have right now? He said, by far, the defensive line. He feels like there's 4 or 5 guys that are still scrapping, still fighting. It's not for sure Niles' job or Jordan's job. It is still a fight. Kelly's in there. Davis is in there. You obviously got Foster and Rudolph and Thomas and a lot of guys in there. Upshaw, a lot of guys in there have been talked about that could contribute early. And it's exciting to see. This is kind of the point where, like Dabo said, we got to watch them in the game. We can only teach them so much. They burn them out 17 days straight in the fall camp. Gave them 36 hours off after fall camp. Went right into this week studying specifically for Georgia Tech, which we're going to get into next week. We're going to do our whole thing on Georgia Tech. But now it's time to study for Georgia Tech, get ready, and then play the game. You can only do so much on the practice field. You can only do so much in Clemson. You got to get there and get actually in Death Valley and play that game. I'm excited for it. I know you guys are, because it's a night game starting off Thursday night. Going to be great. College game day is going to be there, kind of like a mini game day. It's going to be exciting. A lot of people agreeing with you, Al. Joe Ngata, Tyler Davis, Love Ngata. Hey, some other things in there. Just everybody's just jumping in now. So our marketing ploy worked. We got 25 over here on YouTube. And let me tell you my 2 freshmen. To me, again, I'm cheating off of Alan's page here. And Nick Cullen, I wanted to say something about Nick. You called me out last week about cheating off of Alan. I didn't appreciate that, Nick. I didn't appreciate that. I'm just kidding. But I may not have cheated off of Alan after 5th grade, because he left me in the dust as far as academics go. But I'll tell you, who's got the master's degree, Al? Who's got the master's degree?
That's right.
We're both Clemson grads, and that's all that matters. So hey, but anyway, so my freshmen cheated off your paper, Ngata and Davis. Really, I'll tell you, Ngata is a guy not going to get redshirted at all. Dabo Swinney said he's going to play faux show, going to play early, often, and a lot. A lot of people were talking about. I don't know if we said this, but our last video on Ngata, maybe we said that we were worried that he might be something about being a starter or something. We're not worried about him being a starter. We don't think he's worried about being a starter. If you look at Justin Ross, like a lot of people reminded me, Justin Ross was not a starter last year and played a ton. Had like, I think, second most or one of the top catches receiving yards for the team. So I'm not worried about Joseph Ngata not being a starter. Maybe that was something we were thinking about. Could be something with the big-time recruits. You know, big-time five-star guys don't want to sit on the bench and wait around. But we all know with Clemson's offense, he's going to play early and often. They're going to get him in there. Hey, Higgins and Ross have got to be subbed out. And I'll tell you, I made a prediction last week. I'm going to double down on it this week. Joe Ngata is going to score his first touchdown off of a wide receiver screen, similar to the Deion Kane wide receiver screen to the national championship. I'm just telling you right now, that's going to be his first touchdown. All right, I'm going crystal ball on that. Okay, so, but everybody's talking about it. For me, again, I said Ngata, Tyler Davis. I want to kind of, if you were with me from the beginning, you know that I was kind of skeptical on Tyler Davis because I watched him at the recruiting dinner, and I got to see him and meet him kind of face to face, and he's got a baby face. He looks really young. Obviously, he's bigger and badder than me, so I'm not trying to pretend like I'm some big dude, but he just looked like, I guess I was kind of spoiled by the defensive line that we did have. You know, I saw Dexter Lawrence come in at like 17, was just a freaking monster. And I see Tyler Davis, and he's not as tall. You know, he kind of seemed a little bit like chubby a little bit, you know, in my opinion. Kind of baby-faced, looked really young. So the eye test, I was like, you know, I mean, I don't think it was because he looked bad. I just think it's because I'm so used to these 3 first-round draft pick guys. And so, obviously, those guys are guys that are further on in their career, older than him. And, man, when he got out in the spring game, I knew exactly why he got recruited because he just dominated in the spring game. He's somebody who, he may not be there yet physically, but he understands how to use his body, and he's slippery. He can get past blocks when you're like, whoa, what just happened? This dude's smaller than me, but he just got past me. Kind of like a Christian Wilkins sense. Christian wasn't the tallest dude in the world, but he knew how to get around things. And so I'm excited for Tyler Davis.